Welcome back to MidPoint, and also welcome back Senator from Wyoming, an orthopedic physician, member of the Committee on Foreign Relations. John Barrasso joins us. Senator, let's get to what's happening overseas. Speaking of foreign relations, an al-Qaeda affiliate is now threatening to kill an American hostage, much like we have seen from ISIS in the videos. Does this not say to us that this is something that there will be a lot of copycats of? They are going to use Americans, and if Americans are going overseas in any sense of the imagination, any stretch, they need to be aware that they are targets no matter when and where they are.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, Ed. There is this continued threat. You know, if there's anything that's focused the American mind, I believe it's been seeing those videos of the beheadings that have occurred, two hostages by ISIS, and now what you're reporting with al-Qaeda. I was in the Persian Gulf on Thanksgiving Day visiting some of our troops from Wyoming and our National Guard there and serving them Thanksgiving dinner. But the height of concern has risen significantly. So I think that it's a concern to anybody traveling overseas, but it's also concern to those of us at home. What we saw with ISIS is they said they see you in New York. They want their flag flying in Washington, D.C., and that's why it's so important for us to be engaged. And we're actually going to be holding hearings on Monday on an authorization of the use of military force in the Foreign Relations Committee. As you mentioned, I'm a member. I was just in a meeting regarding that right before coming to talk with you, and we're going to move with a vote on an authorization of the use of military force next week.
Speaking to that then, at what level would you personally like to see the military force lengthened or expanded, if you will, in the Middle East against people like ISIS and al-Qaeda?
Well, the president has said he wants to degrade and then destroy ISIS. ISIS, it stands for Iraq and Syria, but I think I'm concerned also about Libya, other locations, so in northern Africa. So this is an expanding group that is really focused, I believe, on targeting those of us in the United States as well as in Europe.
Do you have a concern personally that we are seeing perhaps the beginning of an al-Qaeda-ISIS affiliation here, getting together and creating an even stronger terrorism force?
Well, that's obviously the worry. Remember, the president earlier this year said that these guys were like a JV team. He was absolutely wrong on this. We now are at a point where we're moving to go to a fourth Secretary of Defense because the president continues to seem to want to micromanage things from the White House and underestimates the threat. I think the president was wrong when he got all troops out of Iraq. He should have listened to the military advice of the military leaders who recommended a residual force of about 15,000 there. If the president pulls everyone out of Afghanistan, we're going to just see a repeat of the movie that we saw in Iraq in Afghanistan. So I think that the president needs to focus specifically on the huge level of this threat, not just with ISIS, but as you described, the possibility of ISIS working with al-Qaeda.
Senator, let me get your opinion then on the 17 states that are now going to sue the president on his immigration executive order. Good idea, and not only that, do you think that they can really succeed? Because there's many people who say this is a waste of time.
Well, the president is clearly continuing to go around the will of the American people. We saw an election just earlier, a month ago, that where the people said we want to change the direction of the country, and the president came out the next day essentially ignoring the results and saying he was listening to the two-thirds of the Americans who weren't voting. I don't understand who he's listening to. Is this leadership through telepathy? It is strange to think that the president is not listening to the voters of this country who have rejected his policies, and so he comes out with this executive amnesty heading in the direction that is not, I believe, legal, and is certainly not the right thing to do for our country. I think he's actually made it worse in terms of immigration reform. We need to do immigration modernization in this country, border security, enforcement, things like merit-based and skills-based visas. There's a lot of things we need to do, and I think the president's made it a lot harder to accomplish those things by, in the face of an overwhelming defeat, he goes on and says, I don't care what the voters say, I'm going to do what I want.
I've only got about 10 seconds left. Do you feel that if the president's executive order goes through, which it will, his orders will take effect here, that it will take decades to recover from this immigration order?
Any president can eliminate any of this executive order, this executive amnesty, and I'm going to work for a Republican president in 2016.
And there we go. That'll be the answer for now. Senator John Barrasso, we thank you so much. If we don't get a chance to talk again or before that, please, a very happy holiday and a Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Thanks, Ed. You too.
Take
Bye.
care. We're back with the resetting of a Cold War between Russia and the United States, with the last leader of the Soviet Union dropping an accusation hammer on America. And at 34 minutes after the hour, a former New York City cop takes his turn on where law enforcement needs to go now in light of Ferguson and Eric Garner. That and so much more coming up right here on MidPoint, where we question everything.